Okay, good evening, everyone. It is 7 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order. Welcome to the councillors that are attending by phone, as well welcome to all those in the gallery who are attending by phone. This is the regular meeting of the Council of the Municipality of Swan Valley West, held in Council Chambers at 216 Main Street West, Swan River, Manitoba, this 12th day of January 2021 at 7 p.m. Due to COVID-19 restrictions, some members are attending by phone due to numbers allowed. Present in chambers, myself, Councillor Foster, on the phone, Deputy Reeve Blosha, Councillor Gade, Councillor Kushniryk, and Councillor Pierrepont. With us in chambers as well is the Assistant CAO / Finance Officer, James Webb. Absent with prior written notice, Councillor Wills. And we will do a resolution to that effect. Do we have a mover for resolved that the notice of absence submitted by Member of Council Matt Wills regarding the regular meeting of Council held this 12th day of January 2021 shall be accepted as received? Do we have a mover, please?
I'll move it.
Councillor Foster moves. Seconder?
Seconded.
Councillor Blosha. Any questions or comments? If not, all in favor?
Yes. Yes.
That is carried. Okay, next resolution, resolved that the agenda for the regular meeting of council held this 12th day of January 2021 shall be adopted as presented. Do we have a mover for that?
I'll move it.
Moved by Councillor Kushniryk. A seconder?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Councillor Blosha. Any questions, comments, changes desired? If not, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yep. Yes.
That is carried. Next resolution is the minutes. Resolved that the minutes for the regular meeting of council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West held on December 22nd, 2020 shall be adopted as circulated. Do we have a mover?
Yes.
Councillor Foster moved in here. Councillor Pierrepont, was that you for seconded?
Yes.
Any errors or omissions? If not, all in favor?
Yes. Yes.
That is carried. No public works reports, no petitions. So we'll move right into 7, general business. The bylaw enforcement officer's report for December 2020. You all had a chance to review it? Read the resolution. Resolved that the bylaw enforcement officer's report for December 2020 shall be received by the Council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West. Do we have a mover for that?
I'll move.
Councillor Kushniryk,
I'll second it.
seconded by Councillor Foster. Any discussion?
Just one question if I could.
Go ahead.
I know it might seem petty, but would anybody be upset if I stopped by that boarded up residence in Kenville and wrote Swan Valley West on that plywood so it's less likely to go missing again?
Has it gone missing?
Well, it's on the report. It had to be replaced once already because somebody took it to use it for something.
Is it on the report that it's...
I thought maybe it would slow them down if I put our name on it.
We're just checking here if the bylaw officer actually put it back up.
Yeah, he said he replaced it.
Oh, okay. I don't have an issue with that. Does anyone have an issue with Councillor Gade spray painting Swan Valley West?
No issue.
Just don't get caught by the police thinking that you're doing graffiti.
I'm sure you would all enjoy that humor if I did.
Any further questions or comments? If not, call the question. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
That is carried. Okay, we'll move on to 7.2. Resolved that the following animal control reports shall be received by the Council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West. The Rural Animal Control Officer's report for the month of December. Be it further resolved that payment for the above services shall be approved as submitted. Do we have a mover for that resolution?
I'll move it.
Moved by Councillor Blosha. A seconder?
Second.
Councillor Foster seconds it. Sorry. Any questions or comments on the report? If not, all in favor?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
That is carried. Seven point three. Resolved that the following animal control reports shall be received by the Council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West. The Urban Animal Control Officer's report for the month of December. Be it further resolved that payments for the above services shall be approved as submitted. Do we have a mover for that resolution?
I'll move it.
Is that Councillor Kushniryk?
Pierrepont
Yeah.
Oh, no.
first.
Hello? Hello?
Hello,
Hello? Yeah.
who's joined us?
Has someone joined us? Councillor Pierrepont, did you second that resolution?
Yes.
So, did we have some people join us on the phone in the last couple of minutes?
We're getting lots of beeping going on here.
Must have left the meeting.
Okay, any discussion on this resolution? If not, all in favor?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
That is carried. On to 7.4. Whereas Section 372 of the Municipal Act provides the municipality with the ability to set a reserve bid on any property being sold at a tax sale auction. Be it resolved that the Council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West shall hereby set a reserve bid equal to the amount of all tax arrears, including all accumulated interest and costs owing for any property being sold at the tax sale auction to be held on March 17th, 2021 at 10 a.m. in the council chambers at 216 Main Street West, Swan River, Manitoba. And be it further resolved that we do hereby appoint the Reeve to bid on behalf of the municipality. Do we have a mover for said resolution? Councillor Foster.
Oh,
A seconder, please.
Kushniryk.
Councillor Kushniryk. Any questions or comments?
I just want to clarify, this is for the one that would have been in November is just being moved to March, right? It's not the next round already?
No, this is 2020's tax sale in essence.
Okay, very good, thanks.
Any other question or comment?
Can I ask just about how many people we're going to allow into the chambers, or is it going to be offered in any other way?
I guess we will make a call closer to the date, depending on what the public health dictates.
Okay, yeah, fair enough, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? If not, question, all in favor?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
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 There was no opposed? Okay, that is carried. Did we get someone just joining us?
Yes,
Who is this?
it's Bob Thomas. I had to leave the phone on another call.
Oh, okay. Welcome back.
Yeah.
This is resolution number 7.5, Swan River Fire Department. Resolved that the Swan River Fire Department report for December 2020 shall be received by the Council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West. Do we have a mover?
Yes, I'll move it.
Councillor Blosha. Seconder, please.
Yes.
Councillor Pierrepont. Any discussion on the report? Looks like a vehicle fire, that's it. Call the question, all in favor?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
That is carried.
Seven six was no report.
Okay, no report from the LUD Fire Department. We'll move on to 7.7. Whereas section 163 of the Municipal Act provides that a council may adopt an interim operating budget to have effect only until the council adopts the operating budget for the fiscal year. Therefore be it resolved that the interim operating budget for the municipality, including all rural, urban, and at-large expenditures, shall be hereby adopted for the year 2021 as follows. Government services, $300,000. Protective services, $100,000. Transportation services, $500,000. Environmental services, $100,000. Public health services, $50,000. Environmental development, $50,000. Economic development, $50,000. Recreation and cultural services, $200,000. And capital asset purchases, fiscal services, $300,000. And utility, $200,000. Do we have a mover for that resolution?
I'll move.
Moved by Councillor Kushniryk. Seconder, please. Councillor Foster seconds it. Councillor Foster seconded here. Any questions or comments? Not? All in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Opposed? That is carried. Seven point eight, Swan Valley Veterinary Clinic. Whereas an agreement from the Swan Valley Veterinary Clinic has been received outlining updated terms and conditions, and therefore be it resolved that the Council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West agrees with the terms and conditions of said agreement. Do we have a mover for that? Councillor Foster, you'll move it. Seconder, please. Do we have a seconder?
I'll second.
Councillor Kushniryk. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Yep.
Opposed? That is carried. Seven point nine, Hudson Bay Road Association. Resolved that the Council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West does hereby agree to renew the membership to the Hudson Bay Route Association for 2021 in the amount of $300 as attached. Do we have a mover for that?
I'll move it.
Who was that? Who said they moved it?
Councillor Gade.
Okay, thank you. A seconder, please.
I'll second it.
Councillor Blosha. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Yes.
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 That is carried. Okay, we will move to 8, financial items. Resolved that the Council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West does hereby approve the following payments. General checks number 16611 to 166665. I think there's an extra 6 in there. Look like?
Yep,
There's just too many digits there.
yep.
My goodness, I've got a frog in my throat. Okay, general checks number 16611 to 16665 in the amount of $146,172.36 for a grand total of $146,172.36. Do we have a mover, please?
I'll move it.
Councillor Blosha. Seconder?
Yes.
Councillor Pierrepont? Any questions on any of the checks?
I have one.
Go ahead.
It's actually, well, it's sort of backwards. It's a check I don't see. I see us doing those final grants from 2020, clearing that all up. But what I don't see is a check to the museum for their grant. I was just curious if that, maybe I missed it.
Okay, James is just checking here.
You're right, that was missed. That'll be picked up on the next meeting. Thanks.
Perfect, thank you.
Any other questions? Just give a minute here for anyone who hasn't been able to get through them all. Okay, everyone able to have a look at all of them? No further questions, we'll call the question. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
That is carried. Eight point two, payroll checks. Resolved that the Council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West does hereby approve the following payments. Payroll checks number 3452 to 3464 in the amount of $23,400.21 for a grand total of $23,400.21. Do we have a mover for that, please?
Yes.
Councillor Blosha.
Second.
Second, Councillor Kushniryk, was that?
Yes.
Any questions on those? If not, all in favor?
Yes.
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 That is carried. Eight point three, indemnity. Resolved that Council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West does hereby approve the following payments. Indemnities for December in the amount of $6,907.95 for a grand total of $6,907.95. Do we have a mover for that?
I'll move.
Councillor Kushniryk. A seconder, please.
Yes.
Councillor Pierrepont. Any questions on those? If not, all in favor?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Can you show me as abstained, please?
Councillor Gade?
Yes.
Okay. Everyone else, I believe, was in favor? So that is carried. Eight point four. Resolved that Council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West does hereby approve the following payments. Payroll BFD payments, checks number 3437 to 3451 in the amount of $1,822.80 for a grand total of $1,822, pardon me, and 80 cents. Do we have a mover for that, please?
I'll move that.
Councillor Blosha,
I'll second it.
seconded by Councillor Foster. Any questions on that? If not, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
No opposed or abstained? That is carried. Okay, we will move on to number 9, brush cutting.
That was from the transportation meeting, asking if there's any roads that need to be looked after.
Okay, for those that weren't at the transportation meeting, the machine has just been all serviced and ready to go, and our lead hand, rural lead hand, is asking if any councillor has a pressing need for the brush cutter. I believe he's identified about a week to 10 days worth of work on his own, and had discussed that at the meeting. But beyond that, if you give some thought to where there would be some brush cutting done or needed to be done, perhaps call James, and James can pass that on to the lead hand.
Okay, I'll call
You guys
tomorrow.
have oh, sorry.
I'll call tomorrow because I had 2 spots Don knows about, so we'll see if he remembered.
Okay,
Okay.
we'll confirm that, Carrie.
You.
And the same goes for anyone else, obviously.
Yeah, is there kind of an end date? Like, are you looking for, like, say, Wednesday or by the end of the week, or?
As long as I would think, as long as it's this week, Councillor Kushniryk, he has work where the machine can go, but what he would like to try to do is minimize the number of moves required, because it is very expensive to move it.
Yeah, no, that's good, thank you.
I'm just curious, I did talk to the lead rural hand probably a couple weeks ago, and he mentioned he was moving to the Kenville area, he thought. But at that time, we talked about a couple spots. I wasn't at the transportation meeting, but would it be safe to assume that was the work he had identified already, or should I be bringing it up again?
It probably wouldn't hurt, Councillor Gade, just to call James and tell him where you feel it's needed, and then that way it won't be slipping through the cracks.
Okay, I will endeavor to send a message about that yet this week. Thanks.
Yep. Okay, the other thing, we don't have it on the agenda here tonight, but just a reminder, I think we have to, seeing as how we've done a lot of brush cutting this past fall, and obviously we'll be doing more here, and we did quite a bit the year previous as well. I think we have to give serious consideration to now identifying those areas and making arrangements to at least do a spray test, because otherwise we'll be going back to those same areas in a couple of years. And that gets very expensive. It's a very expensive operation, as you all know, to run that hoe with the scrub head on it. So please give it some thought, and if it gets forgotten to be put on an agenda in the next 2-3 months, make sure that it is put, and we can search out an applicator who's licensed, etc., to give us some prices. Okay, if there's nothing further under that, we'll go on to number 10, correspondence. 10.1, planned installation of a roundabout in Swan River. You all are obviously aware of this. There are some cool thoughts toward it from one municipality at least, given that we in the area are not used to roundabouts at all. Actually, many places utilize them with great success. Many places also just use turning arrows with great success. So it's pretty much up to the individual who's driving if the roundabout is sufficiently large, it shouldn't inhibit B trains or long loads. However, I don't know if we have the actual diameter of the roundabout. James is shaking his head, no, we don't. But I am sure that given that it's on the intersection of two highways, a highway and a bypass, that it'll be engineered to the extent that it should be able to accommodate. But we have a resolution that we can do to support it, and I guess probably the best thing to do is to read the resolution, get it moved and seconded, and then we'll open it for debate. Whereas the Council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West is aware of the intention from Manitoba Infrastructure to install a roundabout at PTH 10 and PTH 83 intersection right off the bypass, and whereas Swan River Valley serves a large logging and farming industry requiring huge equipment, including graders and snowplow equipment, creating a negative issue in navigating the proposed structure. Therefore be it resolved that the Council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West hereby encourages the residents to provide the member of the Legislative Assembly, Rick Wojcik, with your own opinion of this new proposal. Do we have a mover for that? No one interested in moving the resolution?
Councillor Gade will move it.
Councillor Gade. Seconder?
Kushniryk.
Thank you. Any discussion, comments, questions?
One comment, I'd just like to point out a personal experience with these roundabouts near Regina, and they've done a lot of reconstruction in the last 5 years. Near Balgony, there's a major roundabout there, and with the refinery, the co-op refinery there, Super B's, the heavy truck traffic, it does not look like it's a major issue in utilizing a roundabout. It does make the flow of traffic a lot smoother. There seems to be a few more steps in getting through the process, but the problem is it's the change. Everybody needs to accept the change, and I think moving forward, they would probably see it to be okay. That's just my opinion. Yeah, just give that some thought.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments?
I'll make a brief one as well.
I think it's going to create a big accident hazard.
You feel it would be an accident hazard, Councillor Pierrepont?
Yes.
Okay.
They have enough trouble negotiating red light, green light, never mind a roundabout with combines and big trucks loaded with logs and fuel.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. Councillor Gade, I didn't catch your comment.
I was going to say that I know roundabouts can be engineered in such a way as to make them safe and easy to navigate, but from that particular location, looking at the Austins, to me, a simple addition to the existing lights of a turn signal is all that's really required. We need to look only to Roblin and to Russell, to the engineering work Manitoba Highways did there, and unfortunately, in neither of those communities was it an ideal result and led to a substantial number of people unhappy, trucks unable to navigate it, and in the case of Roblin, it is the junction of two major highways, and yet still, they managed to engineer it in such a way that you have to drive over the curbs if you're using a semi in many of those locations. So my personal view on this is that there's not a good track record of engineering things that work well in our rural communities when they're engineered from Winnipeg. Certainly it could be done, but the most advantageous solution for that corner is what has been requested for 20 years now, which would be simply installing an advanced green light on the existing light post and making no other changes. Would also be the cheapest, but I guess that's not always the point either. So that's my comment.
Okay, thank you. When you suggest a green arrow, are you talking only in one direction, north-south or east-west? I believe that there should probably, if it's going to be arrows, should probably be for both directions, right?
The more the merrier. There'd be no reason why you couldn't put an arrow. Certainly east-west has the 2 lanes that are required for it. The north-south might be an engineering issue to put arrows in there, just because you can't arrow both sides at the same time, obviously, because some people don't want to go straight through and there's not lanes for that. But certainly east-west should have them.
Yeah, that's the issue with the green arrow going north and south is only 1 lane currently.
I know in Yorkton too, they got on York Road and that main one coming in from Roxton too, it's arrows there they have there. And there's a lot of traffic going out to Richards and LDM there. You know, there's a lot of traffic there, so it seems to be working there.
It would only half solve the problem here, though, I think, is what the Department of Highways or Infrastructure was trying to get around. But any other questions or comments?
I think I would prefer the advanced lane or the green arrow idea personally. I just was pointing out that I've seen a roundabout work, but I do like that green arrow or advanced lane idea.
You almost need 2 lanes, though, otherwise you don't get away from what you have now, and that's somebody wanting to turn and holding up the individuals who want to go across the road or straight through.
Yeah, so really it looks like mostly just the east-west traffic would, be able to take advantage of this, right?
Yes.
That's the only ones you need.
Yeah.
It's a good thing they didn't build a swimming pool in the way of where the second lane would go.
You'd need an amphibious vehicle then.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments?
Well, they built that new access at that light to change it so trucks going LP wouldn't have to deal with the light. It still hasn't made that big a difference. I think a second turning lane, like Mr. Gade said, have an extra lane so the traffic would flow better is a lot safer and probably more efficient than putting in a roundabout.
Yeah, the issue with trucks, large trucks coming from the north, and I guess it would just be log trucks, wanting to turn east on 10 is a very, very tight situation there as well. Whereas a roundabout would in fact get rid of that because it would be 3/4 way around the circle and you're gone.
I don't think your biggest problem is with the north and south traffic, it's the east and west traffic.
You know, some logs come from the north though heading east.
Oh, no, for sure. But they're well controlled already. I don't think there's much of a backup to really be concerned about.
No, just difficulty in making the turn the way it is now.
Okay, I got you, yeah.
Okay. Okay, anything further? If not, we'll call the question. All in favor of this resolution?
Yep.
Yeah.
Any abstentions or opposition? Not, that is carried.
This is just information.
I want to shake that one. Okay, you've all read 10-2, Katie's Cottage letter. Any desire to make a contribution? If not, we'll leave it for your consideration perhaps at a later date.
Did somebody join us on the phone?
Okay, we are at number 12, committee reports. Councillor Pierrepont. Councillor Pierrepont, are you there?
Yep. I attended the water pipeline meeting for the town of Swan River and the transportation meeting.
Okay, Councillor Blosha.
Yeah, the only meeting I attended so far was the water pipeline meeting.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Kushniryk. Councillor Kushniryk, are you there?
Sorry, I was on mute. I was at the transportation and the water meeting as well. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Foster.
Yeah, I was at the same ones, transportation and the water pipeline.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Wills is not here. Councillor Gade, you were at a meeting?
I was, believe it or not. I have a meeting to report on. I was fortunate enough to attend a meeting with the town of Swan River where we were speaking about the water pipeline and the water agreement with them. And certainly it was good to, first of all, be at a meeting, but secondly, I found the town committee brought a lot of great ideas to the table. I was really glad to see they put so much thought and effort into their proposal. It was nice to not start by simply saying, what should we do, but instead have some ideas to talk about. So certainly it was a good evening of talking about ideas and sharing of information. I look forward to what's yet to come with more work with them as we look to a few things we, I think, collectively all thought of there and want to answer a little bit more. Hopefully it's a great sign, as I spoke of at the meeting, you know, not just for working on this, but for other things that are mutually beneficial to the town of Swan River, residents and our residents, plus the entire valley. So it's good to see us working together so well. So that's the meeting I attended. I also had an opportunity, just at a very recent time, to come by the Crestview Bridge, just to take a look at it. Make sure I remain up to date with exactly where it's at structurally. Because obviously we've had some concerns with that, but I was out there, took a quick peek at it. Feel quite happy to report I felt safe driving across it. That's my report.
Thank you. Okay, I too attended the water contract meeting with the town of Swan River, as well as the transportation meeting that was held last Thursday. James, do you have anything to?
I was at the transportation meeting as well as the water pipeline.
Okay, thank you. Resolved that we do hereby accept the following verbal reports regarding council committees and communications. Councillor Kushniryk, Transportation, Water Pipeline. Councillor Blosha, Water Pipeline. Councillor Pierrepont, Water Pipeline and Transportation. Councillor Gade, the Water Pipeline. Councillor Foster, Water Pipeline and Transportation. The same for myself, the Water Pipeline meeting and the Transportation meeting. And the finance person attended the Transportation meeting and the Water Pipeline meeting. Do we have a mover for this resolution? Councillor Foster. Seconder, please.
Kushniryk.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? If not, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
That is carried. Okay, that brings us to the point in the meeting where we will entertain any question or comment from the gallery, those that are attending by phone. If anyone has a question, speak up. And
Marty Thomas.
hi, Marty. You have a question or a comment?
The comment on the roundabout.
Go ahead.
I talked to one of the town councillors, Mr. Ventoni, a couple weeks ago, just before Christmas. And I asked him what's going to happen to the crosswalk across Main Street from Subway going north. And he said that was one of the problems they were having, that they have not figured out where the crosswalk is going to be. Because when you have a roundabout, there isn't any stop traffic. Everybody is still going round and round. There is no stoplight to let people cross. And that was one of the things that are being held up. So that's my comment for the night. Thank you.
Thank you. It's a good point. Anyone else have a comment or a question?
A comment, Reeve, is I noticed that on seconding, Kushniryk has given his name, which is really great, because then you know who it is rather than trying to guess the voice.
That's a good point as well. We can understand most of them unless there's some other background noise, but it would be helpful, I guess, if you are moving or seconding a motion, just to say your name and then we know.
It seemed to make it smoother and faster as well as better understood. You didn't have to keep asking.
Thank you for that suggestion. Any other questions or comments?
Good evening, it's Ron. I agree with Marty. That's a great point you brought up about how people are going to cross at those stations with a roundabout. But as I also drive large trucks, it's going to still be difficult to manage a roundabout because a larger truck still takes a lot more space to yield and to go. It's still going to be a difficult access for them to maneuver a roundabout. I still agree with those that propose a turning signal, and the biggest problem from the north-south direction is those lights aren't synchronized with the lights over by Tim Hortons. Tim Horton leaves that traffic flow, which major traffic flow, ample time, and the lights on 10 and 83 bypass are terrible. You just get geared up and you've got to stop. That's my comments on them.
Yeah, I think they're a little longer east-west as well because of the increased traffic over the north-south direction, but it maybe seems that way only, but that's what it seems like to me. Any other questions? Thank you, Ron, for that comment. Any other questions or comments?
I came out of a large city and I was not in favor of the roundabouts. Today I happened to be coming through that intersection. There was a couple of big B trains turning, and there again I thought, whatever happened to, at one time I think we had turning lights there, but I'm not positive.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments? If not, thank you all for attending, and
Somebody's asking a question.
oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Hi, I'm just wondering why council feels the need to use private citizens in a complaint. We are not public figures. Why would we use it to a complaint?
We haven't received your name yet. What was the name?
Natalie?
And last name?
Champagne?
Thank you.
Okay, what was the question again, Ms. Champagne?
Why several of private community members' names are used in a complaint over comments on Facebook? Like why we were not notified or asked permission? I'm just wondering why council feels the need to use private citizens as cannon fodder against other councillors.
They were on a public website.
It doesn't matter. We're not public figures. You are.
May I answer that one for you, Reeve, Galloway?
You may.
Yes.
This is Ron Medwin. If you looked into the actual wording of the complaint, their names are only there as the purpose to show made a complaint on a public domain. You were not mentioned in any other manner, only to show what you did and what your complaint was. And whoever made it public, if I may say, was Mr. Gade. The complaint or the RM never made your names available in a public space. Mr. Gade put your names in his posting in a public domain. Your question should be towards him.
Okay, and that has nothing to do with this meeting, so we will leave that subject where it is. Are there any other questions or comments?
I have a question.
Who?
I have a question. I'm not sure if you're hearing me.
Who is this? Bill? Councillor Gade?
Bill, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have a question?
I'm curious. Well, I'm kind of curious at what point we elected Mr. Medwood to our council so that he answers questions from citizens instead of the Reeve or a councillor. I don't think it's appropriate for us to be holding a public forum where we ask other members of the public or the person chairing the meeting allows other members of the public to answer questions for each other. If they want to do that, there's probably a better forum than our meeting.
Yeah, that's, I agree entirely.
A lot of, you looking after the meeting and answering those questions.
I agree entirely, and that's why that discussion I suggested was coming to an end. Are there any other questions or comments with regard to our meeting?
Let me help you with the words for next time. You say, Mr. Medwood, stop speaking. You're out of order.
And you, sir, are out of order now. Do we have any other questions or comments from the public? If not,
I actually have one.
Who is this?
Brad Kushniryk.
Go ahead.
Brad, when we asked for your name, when did you join?
I tried joining a couple times. It kept out on me. Hello?
Yes?
Is there anybody else on the phone that hasn't reported their names yet? This is the same as a public meeting held at council chambers. We need to know who's on the phone.
Fair enough. My question is to refer to the reply of Mr. Medwood. I was just curious how Mr. Medwood came to read this from Steve. He seems to know an awful lot about abuse of council, and I don't believe that he's in public.
You are hardly being heard. However, I did hear a citizen name, and if you heard my comment just a minute or two ago, that discussion is not, this is not the place for that sort of discussion. So I will ask once again if there is a question with regard to what was brought up at the meeting here tonight.
Well, that was brought up at the meeting. I'm hopefully you're able to hear me better now. All I'm asking is how Mr. Medwood was able to read this complaint to have a reply in the Star and Times.
We are
as far as I know, they are public.
We are done with that discussion. If you want further clarification, you can get that after the meeting or through the office. Not a problem.
Then I won't ask that again. Can I just ask then if you will reference my request to formally see all complaints against council, because I should be just as special as anyone else that saw them.
That topic is no longer going to be discussed.
Well, this is a new topic now. I'm sorry.
I'm going to be ruling you out of order if you do not adhere to the suggestion.
I just thought I brought up a different topic, that's all. I was just requesting complaints against the council because they are apparently public.
Any other questions from any other member of the public?
Yes,
if
Reeve.
not,
I think I got it.
It's Ron here.
Yes, you cut me off.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
To Darryl, we discussed, I gave you road numbers this fall for the brush cutter. Do you still have them documented? Or do we need to discuss those roads once again?
Councillor Pierrepont, are you still there?
Yeah, sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, we'll resubmit them. I've talked to Mr. Baldock about some of them, but we're going to try and coordinate so that we're not moving. A couple of those are just a single move, so we'll have to try to get a plan there to how we're going to move it.
Yeah, yeah, I understand that, but if you don't have them, I'll talk to you this week. I'll get them resubmitted, and for any other information, you or anybody else can call me at my home, and I'll entertain any of your questions. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, if there are no other questions, again, thank you all for attending. I certainly hope that in the not too distant future that this COVID will be over and done with, and we'll be able to carry on meetings in the fashion which they were designed to be carried on. So again, thank you very much. To council members, we will take a 10-minute recess, and we will be reconvening and going in camera. Thank you. Resolved that pursuant to section 152 sub 3 of the Municipal Act, the council as a whole shall go into camera and close the meeting to continue discussions regarding 13.1 employee contract, 13.2 ratepayer concerns, 13.3 recycling center. Do we have a mover for that resolution?
Yes.
Councillor Blosha. Seconder?
I'll second it.
Councillor Foster seconds it. All in favor?
Yes.
Yep. Yes. Yes.
That is carried. Okay, resolved that pursuant to section 152 sub 4 of the Municipal Act, this meeting shall be reopened to the public. Do we have a mover for that?
I'll move it.
Moved by Councillor Foster. Seconder?
Yep. Kushniryk.
Councillor Kushniryk. All in favor?
Yep.
Yes. Yep.
That is carried. Okay, we have a couple of resolutions arising out of in camera. Whereas council for the Municipality of Swan Valley West hired Dale Rose for the year 2020 as bylaw enforcement officer and wishes to extend his contract for the year 2021. Resolved that his contract shall be extended as per attached service agreement signed by the Reeve on behalf of the municipality. Do we have a mover for that?
Yes.
Councillor Blosha. A seconder?
Yes.
Councillor Pierrepont. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Just going to ask the question. I was just missed the part where we discussed if this was the building inspector one or the bylaw enforcement officer one.
This is the bylaw enforcement officer one.
Okay, thank you.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
That is carried. Next resolution, whereas council for the municipality of Swan Valley West has hired Dale Rose as building inspector and wishes to extend his contract for the year 2021. Resolved that his contract shall be extended as per the attached service agreement signed by the Reeve on behalf of the municipality. Do we have a mover for that resolution?
Yes, Kushniryk. Okay.
And a seconder, please.
Who moved it?
Kushniryk moved it.
Yeah, Kushniryk moved it. We need a seconder.
I'll second it.
Okay. Councillor Pierrepont. Any discussion? You're cutting out, Bill. Councillor Gade.
Okay, is this better?
That's better.
Okay, I have a copy of the service agreement, and the copy I have in section 1 has a blank spot where we're going to fill in the annual retainer, so I was wondering if we should discuss what number we put in there?
Yeah. $2 was what was requested, up from $175. New total population that we will be using is 2829 versus what it was previously, 2923 at 175 per capita.
Couple comments I'd like to make then.
Okay, go ahead.
I guess somewhat to do with process. So I understand that Mr. Rose has sent a written request asking that his pay be raised from $1.75 per capita to $2 per capita. And certainly, I understand anytime an agreement is revised or renewed, there may be a request to raise things. But I look kind of at our history of how we negotiate agreements like this, and certainly it isn't our standard that when a group or individual makes a request that we simply fill in their new number without some rationale behind that. If I want to explore our rationale a little bit, certainly, we concluded union negotiations not too long ago, and that new contract is a matter of record, and I would suggest that any new union negotiation is a product of people working together and a number coming together, and certainly two sides start far apart and end up someplace. That was the case with the union, what they asked for and what we offered initially. Eventually we came up with a number that everybody could live with. The request that we have from Mr. Rose represents a 14% increase in his rate of pay, which to me is a substantial increase for a year contract. I know we've learned that he hasn't necessarily had an increase for 5 years, but certainly if any other group of employees or single employee had not asked for an increase for 5 years, we wouldn't necessarily give them a 14% increase the year they asked. There's also been some discussion as to the population and the census numbers, and up until this contract, the census numbers have been based on the 2011 census, which is a bit of rate shopping. The 2016 census has been moved since 2017. So certainly, before 2021, we could have updated the actual population. The reason we pay a per capita retainer for a contract like this instead of perhaps a flat rate where we say it's $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a year is because the amount of work a building person has to put in is captured by that. The amount of questions they get, the amount of people that ask something about it. The service agreement provides additional payment. 80% of all building inspection fees, including plumbing and occupancy fees, also go to the building inspector. So for the actual work that's done, we go to inspect. That's sort of taken care of. The per capita fee deals solely with those things that aren't captured in the building permit. Perhaps someone says that I need a permit to do this, and I need a permit to do that. The answer maybe is no, so there's no permit issue. Let's go for that some time. I realize the number has gone down of people, and that's unfortunate. I prefer to see us growing, but there's been some suggestion that the reason we should provide a 14% increase is to make up for the lower number of people, but I would submit the lower number of people actually means there would then be less work, because there's not going to be as many of those questions, because there's simply not as many people to answer. Maybe to put the whole perspective on it, if, for example, someone worked a job where they were paid $1.75 an hour, and they were going to work 5 hours less a week, they wouldn't necessarily be given a raise to $2 just because they were working 5 hours less. I'm a little concerned about the idea of setting a precedent here, writing a 14% increase for a member of staff, because certainly if I was any other member of staff working for the municipality and saw a 14% increase go across the books, I would think 14% increase would be good for everybody. I'm not sure that's something council would want to entertain for very long. We might entertain it for a minute or two, but we couldn't necessarily afford a 14% increase across the board. People want to set an example here of treating one member of the staff differently than we treat other members of staff. If we hold the other members of staff, I don't feel back easy, but that percentage certainly is nowhere near 14%. To treat somebody that's not a union staff member to such a different amount of increase would certainly be a cause for concern to me and probably to a lot of people. Comment.
Any other comments? Not? Ready for the question?
I'd like a recorded vote, please.
Okay,
Eileen.
There was a beep there, yep.
who joined us?
Natalie.
Yeah, I heard that. Oh,
Who joined us?
Natalie.
Oh, okay.
Natalie shouldn't be on there.
Well, it's
Well,
open now.
Oh, yes.
We're open now.
Yeah. We reopened it, Joe.
Okay, recorded vote was called for. Councillor Gade.
All right, I think you hear me now. I'm off mute. No.
Okay. Councillor Blosha.
Yes.
Councillor Foster.
Yes.
Councillor Kushniryk.
yes.
Councillor Pierrepont.
Yes.
And myself, yes. Those were the only two, right, from in camera?
Yes, that's right, Joe.
The resolution is carried. Okay, anyone have anything final before we adjourn? Not resolved that this meeting shall now adjourn at 9 p.m. Be it further resolved, the next meeting is Tuesday, January 26th, 2021 at 7 p.m. Do we have a mover for this?
Yes.
By Councillor Foster, seconded by Councillor Blosha.
Yes.
All in favor?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
That is carried. Thank you all for your attendance.